Ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else watching. Sorry to lump you into the everybody else category, but, it's easier that way. This is your host, Madman, and today we are doing another Commadtary track on one of my favorite films, No Country for Old Men. So, it's a 2007 film, infamous and famous in both of those senses, you might say. The director's name escapes me, but I'm sure it'll come up eventually. This is a movie that I wasn't too keen on doing a commentary on because there's not much I have to say during the important scenes. They kind of speak for themselves. But I'm sure I'll be able to pull something out of my ass. Here we have the opening monologue. And basically this movie, I think it's based on a Cormac McCarthy novel? Is it Cormac McCarthy? I better look it up. Look it up with me online right now. We can do it together. Ready? Okay, it's a Coen Brothers movie, of course, because it's good. Stands to reason that it's a Coen Brothers film. And it is based on Cormac McCarthy's novel. Okay, good. So we got that right. We can give ourselves a pat on the back. Basically, this movie is about how older generations in the States are so dependent on their stubborn adherence to their ways that it's very difficult for them to adapt to rapid change. And there are some things that you should resist that are not good changes for your society. I think we're seeing some of the fallout of that right now in November of 2024. There are certain changes that are so significant that the majority of a population are simply not ready for them. And if you try to force those changes on them too early, it's not a good idea. But, all that crap aside, this monologue is... It's relevant to the film in a sense, but the ending is more relevant with this character, with Tommy Lee Jones' character. What he says at the end of the movie is much more interesting, so I don't feel too bad talking over this. I'm watching the movie with subtitles, which you should be too if you're actually watching this right now. If anybody's actually watching this commentary or gives a shit about it, just watch with subtitles, obviously. God, the haircuts in this movie are so goddamn ugly. The real villain is the haircuts. Not just Antoine Chigurh. Everybody's haircut fucking sucks. It's just that period of time. It's 1980. Bad time for hair, 1980. Bad time for cops, too, according to this film. They just get fucking ruined in this. So Antoine Chigurh's character, he's basically some kind of demon. He's basically some kind of rogue entity, or he's meant to represent some primeval evil. That goes without saying, but it should be noted because his character is so fucking creepy in this. His performance is so inhuman. The actor has such an ability in this. I would put him on par with Daniel Day-Lewis in how he's able to just shut off his true self or just put it away while he's acting, which is fucking insane. It's like borderline schizophrenic. If you can just shut off or put away who you are and then put that same person that's you back on after you're done acting, holy shit. There's probably like 20 people on Earth who can do that. Which is why he makes such a terrific villain in this. His performance is just unearthly. It's inhuman how good he is. That's what makes him so creepy. It's not just his performance in the film, it's the fact that this is a film. Like he's not actually like this in real life. And man, seeing him speak at like some Hollywood gala talking about the movie after having watched this is very surreal because you're like, oh, he's a real person? Like that's the mark of a master of the craft of acting. He's just a master of it. I mean, every scene with him is so good, I don't even want to say anything. And he takes advantage of idiots in this movie. That's a theme, is he takes advantage of NPC drones who will do whatever they think they have to do in the face of authority. And that's kind of why in his character's context that he has a disdain for these people. Anyone who resists him effectively, he has a sort of a weird respect for. And of course, we cut from him executing the guy like a cow to our protagonist, who's about to shoot an elk or a deer of some kind, whatever the fuck that is. An ungulate, a hooved mammal. Anyway, back to Chigurh's character, because he's the most interesting part of this movie. He seems to be sickened by the stupidity of the average person. And he goes about killing them because it's not just that he doesn't care about human beings or life. It's that he actively hates not just life in general, but he hates dumb people. And that's a very blunt way of putting it. But if you watch the movie, you'll see it. Every time he encounters anybody who has even an attempt at resisting him, Carson's character resists him, but Carson is such a meek guy who thinks he can buy him off that it's kind of pathetic. But Chigurh has fun with his patheticness. Whereas anyone he encounters that seems to be a soulless drone or an NPC or a golem or whatever, he just is like, why does this person even exist? They're a waste of oxygen. I actually loathe the fact that I have to look at them. So he has a real passion for, drying up clay golems until they turn to dust, cracking the golems till they fall apart. And what the irony is, of course, he is like a golem himself. He's a sort of an automaton. He's this hollow person possessed by nothing but a disdain for useless, stupid, or inept people. And in that sense, he's very much like. Oh man, you can compare him to other villains. Like, you can make comparisons. It's really not even worth doing. I was going to say he's kind of like Randall Flagg from The Stand, or he's kind of like blah blah blah. He's really not like any of these characters. The reason McCarthy and the Coen brothers are so good with this adaptation of that book is because this villain is so inhuman. And he's not inhuman in a flashy Diablo 2 kind of demon sense. He's not a big horned thing. He's also not a cold, calculating robot. He does have passion. He does have human emotion. He has hatred. He has disgust. I guess you could compare him to Christian Bale's character in the American Psycho film, but even that is over the top. Chigurh would never be so unhinged. He's cold and calculating, but that's not his entire personality. What makes him such an interesting villain is he does have fun with Carson. He has fun torturing him. He has a sadistic side, and he has a hatred for useless people. So he has human emotions, but the only emotions he has are the bad ones. Again, perfect villain. Perfect villains are not robots or cackling demons. Perfect villains are just people who have completely shed any vestige of good emotions, of communally beneficial, socially stable thoughts from their mind. They have only... all they have left of their humanity is the bad side. So, with that having been said, we have our main character here, Mustache McGee, Texas T. We're going to call him Texas T. So Texas T has found a Hispanic drug deal gone very bad. And of course, the implication is Chigurh is a Hispanic guy who was captured by the cops. He probably had something to do with this, right? A lot of dead bodies here. What's weird is I haven't seen this movie in years, so I'm basically watching it for the first time. I don't remember the plot. I remember the key scenes, but the continuity of things is kind of lost to my aging brain. So forgive me for that. But what's weird to me is, how did Chigurh get caught in the first place? I don't think we're ever told how he got picked up by the cops. And if he did get picked up by the cops anywhere near this drug deal, A, why didn't he take the money? And B, how did the cops pick him up and not notice this? I guess he must have been coming to this area for the money. I think that's the implication. And again, this movie does not spell things out for you, which is why I love it. It treats you like you have a fucking brain in your head, and you can maybe figure out what's going on like I'm trying to do right now. That's part of the fun, okay? Films like this, they're autism Rubik's Cubes for your brain, which some people hate. Some people don't like that. I understand that. That's perfectly fine. This movie, like a lot of other movies, it shows you clues, it shows you images, and it doesn't actually tell you, this is what happened. The Mexicans were here for the deal at 9 a.m. last Tuesday, and Antoine Chigurh was supposed to meet them at 10 a.m. But unfortunately, he got pulled over for a broken taillight, and that's the continuity. That's why he didn't get the money. The movie doesn't spell it out for you like you're 5. It treats you like a thinking human being, which most movies don't in 2024. I don't care if I sound like an old man. You can go fuck yourself. Go watch a modern movie. I mean, I had fun with Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice was fun. That was okay. It was okay. It was a 6.5, maybe a 7 out of 10. Willem Dafoe, you know what? Willem Dafoe being in it, I'll bring it up to a 7 out of 10, just for him being in the film. And the practical effects were fun. But anyway. So again, he's tracking this Mexican guy like he would track an animal. He's thinking like his prey. So this guy is not... I don't think he's an assassin. Maybe he is. Again, I don't remember this film's plot too well, but in the context of what we're seeing, you know, if you were seeing this for the first time, he's just a hunter. He's just an average Joe. So he's just using his tracking skills to find this guy. But he would make a great assassin. I mean, you know, if Chigurh actually wanted or cared about inviting more people into the Assassin's Guild, the John Wick Assassin Guild, which thankfully in this movie doesn't exist, you know, maybe he would want to recruit this guy, but this guy's just an average dude. You know, he's just Texas T. That's all he is. And this movie's so goddamn great, man. Every shot in it is great. I could gush about every shot. The hole in the guy's boots. The way that this movie zooms in on little autismo ADHD details, and it gives them a minute to actually occupy the scene. And there's a great example of this later on, but the guy's boot with the hole in it, actually bothering to put that in the frame and deciding that it deserved several seconds of time. That's what separates a good director from a hack director, is being confident enough in your own capability to evaluate aesthetics and to craft shots as if literally each frame is supposed to be a still image, which it is, and actually treating the film like, I don't know, however many 800,000 paintings. Like when you're making a film, you're showing your audience literally hundreds of thousands of frames in rapid succession. And each frame, if you're a good director, should actually look like a painting that you could freeze and hang in a gallery. And that sounds pretentious, it sounds poncy, it sounds kind of gay, but good directors will do that. They will take their film seriously enough to actually look at each, you know, shot, however many seconds or minutes it is, and say, does this look like a painting in rapid motion? And if a director looks at their whole film that way, they're autistic, but they're also a genius, and their film will actually be good. I mean, even this shot, you have the truck centered in the frame with the Ford logo slightly on the right, mountains in the background, great shot. Earlier, when our main character was hiking across after having failed to shoot his prey, we had a black mountain, like a black pyramid, just off center in the middle of the frame. I wanted to mention that. Every shot in this movie is pretty damn good. I mean, there's shots like this, which it's like, okay, he's just getting something from under his house. But the way it's framed, the way that we don't quite see, it doesn't zoom in on the little shitty wood lattice that he pulls away to like blatantly show you, like, he's opening the lattice to find something. It's under him, it's under frame, his face is in the center, like it's in horizontally, it's centered, like everything is great. So I'll try not to gush too much about that. I love it. She's like, where'd you get that new gun? He's like, at the getting place. Duh. My IQ is 92. They call me Texas 92. And again, this guy, you know, he's got this nosy wife and he can still make her shut up. He'd make a good assassin. Maybe he can keep some secrets. Ooh, secret keeper. He's a good liar. It's a rare quality. You can be a liar, but to be a good liar, that's rare. But he has a problem. He has a soul. He's a genuine person. And he feels guilt. He can't leave the Mexican guy to dehydrate to death. He can't do it. Because the guy asked him for water, for the manna of life in the desert. Very biblical. This movie has a shit ton of biblical allusions and imagery in it. It's totally saturated with it. I could make a whole other video just talking about that, so I'll refrain from focusing on that aspect. But I love it. He says, "Well, I'm gonna go see my mom," and she's suspicious, but she doesn't stop him. He seems to have held authority over his household. Good man. Hopefully not with physical force. Seems like he doesn't need it. Seems like he's clever enough that he's not an apish brute. And his wife understands, well, if he's got something he needs to do that he doesn't tell me about, probably means it would be dangerous for me to pry too much into it. And she's absolutely right. But he's in way over his head. And again, it's such a pitiful thing. He's only doing this to satisfy his sense of morality. What he should have done was shoot the guy. What he should have done was pick up one of the guns from the shootout with a glove on and kill the guy. That would have been the merciful thing to do. Oh, that's brutal. It's an execution. The guy was going to die anyway. What, are you going to take him to a hospital? Reveal that you've been there? Reveal that you have the money? No, you're not. So our main character, brilliantly written, is conflicted because he has the greed for the free money, but he also has the merciful instinct. And again, if you wanted this movie to end much earlier and be much less interesting, he would have just shot the Mexican guy. I think that would have been interesting too. You could have had him feel guilty about killing the guy, and then he reports that he saw the location, because the cops have not found this place yet, obviously. So maybe he calls it in anonymously. Here's my rewrite of one of the best written movies ever, guys. Here's my rewrite. I'm good enough. I'm going to rewrite this. My rewrite is, instead of him coming back to give the guy water, he executes the guy, but he feels guilty about shooting him. He leaves the gun at the scene, right? The gun he uses to kill the dehydrated Mexican. He leaves it at the scene. Then he goes home. He lays awake at night. Next morning, he waits till his wife goes to work. He lies to her, says, "Oh, I've got the day off," whatever. She goes to work before he does. Then he calls in. He goes to a payphone, drives to a payphone, calls in an anonymous tip. He puts on a fake voice maybe, and he says, "I was hunting and I saw some cars with, I think, some bodies near them." Because these aren't the cops. These are the Mexicans, right? The other members of this whatever fucking deal was going on. My point is, he calls it in, right, anonymously. And then let's say that the cops find out. Tommy Lee Jones comes to his trailer. This would change the first hour of the movie, so it's not even worth suggesting. But let's say Tommy Lee Jones comes in and says, "We think you were out there because we saw your hunting tracks. We saw evidence of you hunting there," whatever. And he goes, "Well, yeah, I was out there, and yeah, maybe I called it in." And they're like, "Okay, maybe you did." Then they take him to the crime scene, and there'd be a shot of him looking at the gun he used to kill the dehydrated Mexican guy and hoping that Tommy Lee Jones doesn't figure it out. And they would have analyzed all the bullet wounds by the time he got there, and Tommy Lee Jones would say, "Well, this Mexican guy seems like he was killed 10 or 12 hours later than the rest because of his body temperature. His liver temp is different. I'm turning this into a CSI episode, but you get what I'm saying. There's very few ways you could improve this movie, but that I think would be better, because it wouldn't paint our main character as such an idiot. Because his moral compass, while it's a valid, humanizing trait, it also makes him seem very stupid. And he's a flawed person. He's not, a genius, which is part of what adds to the drama of the film. But he doesn't have to be a genius. He just had to have common sense. He just had to say, well, I wanted to kill the guy because I'm not going to bring him water, because that would be incredibly stupid. Instead, I'm going to execute him to end his life quickly, or else he's going to spend the next 10 hours dying in agony. I will give him the mercy of a quick death. A guy who's a hunter would understand that. A guy who shoots game and does field dressing and guts it and hangs the corpses under his house, which he does. He's got rabbits and stuff down there, you know. He just shot a fucking dog in this scene we're seeing right now. But my point is that he can have a moral compass without being a complete idiot. And I think that the premise of this movie always bothered me because his mistake seems too dumb even for him. He's just an average dude, an everyman, a bit of a redneck, you know, whatever. He always seemed a bit too stupid, which is one of the very few flaws in this movie that bother me about it, is how dumb he is. He could have been, 5 to 10 IQ points smarter. Now, holy shit. Okay, we got to talk about this scene. It's the gas station scene. Famous scene. This gas station attendant, you'll note behind him, and a million other YouTubers have pointed this out, it's not a new thing, the little belts he has for sale for whatever part of the car they're for. I don't know, I'm not an auto freak. I'm not a gremlin from Mad Max. I don't understand every nuance of a car engine. But they look like nooses. They're black nooses hanging above his head. And to the right, you'll notice he's got smiley face buttons. Bit of a Watchmen reference, but also there's a nebula in space that looks like a smiley face. So, anyway, smiley faces and nooses. You've got life and death right behind him. The heads side of the coin is the smiley face. The tails side, the ass end of the coin, is the noose. Duality. And of course he's squirming, he's just saying whatever he thinks he needs to say. They're battling with verbal spells. This guy's like, I'm not gonna be an average Joe here. You read my license plate. I'm an assassin. That's a fucking liability, man. But again, he's playing with the guy. But he's not just playing with him. He does have a weird, twisted, demonic morality in his mind that he operates by. And it's unfortunately a bit of a ripoff of Two-Face from Batman. I have to say it. This novel was written in 2005. Two-Face is a lot older than that. Basically what McCarthy did was he took the character of Two-Face from fucking Batman and he made him actually evil. He made him worse than any version of the Joker. Way worse. I hate to look at things through a comic book lens, but it's unavoidable. This guy flips a coin and decides whether or not to kill people. Two-Face did that in the fucking 70s at least, if not earlier than that. So he's basically a revamp of a Batman villain, but he's done so goddamn perfectly that he transcends his own origins. And of course McCarthy probably knew that and was like, well, I really have to write this guy well. And the filmmakers, the Coen brothers, knew it too. Or the Coen sisters, whatever the fuck they are now. They knew how to treat him. And so he says, this guy's had such a fucking lucky life, this blue-eyed little Pleiadian fuck, this Pleiadian genetic effluent that was queefed out onto this planet. He's had such a good life here. He's won every coin toss for fucking 60 years. And Chigurh goes, is he lucky enough to win mine? Because he deserves insane karma for how lucky he's been. My God, this guy's luck. Looking at things from Chigurh's perspective, this guy needs a confrontation with death or with bad luck because his whole life has been fucking handed to him. Grew up in Texas, went to temple, went to church like a good boy, had a family. Family grew up and moved away and all were successful, and now he runs a gas station and it's a chill job. He serves truckers their beef jerky and gas, and he sits there and he goes to bed at 9 like a good boy. And Chigurh's like, that is way too goddamn lucky for anybody to be. It's an affront to karma itself, and I am here to rebalance the scales. And the guy picks heads. Good choice. The smiley faces behind you were whispering to you, pick heads, don't pick tails, that's the noose. goes, "Don't put that fucking coin in your pocket, you NPC drone. Maybe you'll gain a soul if you remember this encounter on your deathbed. Maybe you'll realize how lucky you were, and you'll be a little more thankful instead of being complacent and ignorant." So now we cut back to his wife. Interesting scene with the boots shuffling, which mirrors Shigur's boots making marks on the police station floor. Same exact position that our main character's in, with his boots scraping in the dirt. There's a vulnerability to that. It's like you've been pinned down. I mean, Shigur was strangling a guy when he made those marks on the police station floor, but there's a vulnerability to that. You're on your back. You're exposed. Your belly is exposed. Your guts are exposed. You know, you're not in a very defensive position. And correctly, he's saying, get the fuck out of this house, because I've got Mexican cartel motherfuckers on my tail now. But somebody far worse is on his tail. He doesn't even know. The ticking clock. My God. Shigur in this is the ultimate... he's a living ticking clock, as well as being death incarnate, as well as being a much better version of Two-Face from Batman. And he's also just a guy who's straight up evil. Now, this guy is his boss. So like Grand Moff Tarkin was Vader's boss, even Shigur has a boss. It's this Texas oil man. My family knows the secret that oil is actually fermented blood made in the blood caves underground in the hollow earth. When we burn it, we're exercising the souls of those we killed in hatred. Now, you don't tell nobody that. Even if you do, they'll think you're schizo. So I'm not worried about telling you, Anton. Also, you're already crazy, so, you know, I can tell you pretty much anything. I can tell you about some islands I've been to out on the coast there. But, them islands, they're not for you. You ain't welcome there. We're worried you're gonna hurt people there. And not in the way we want you to. But anyway, let's look at some dead Mexicans now. Damn, he could have worked one of my oil rigs. Waste of a worker. Doesn't matter, Trump's gonna deport them all anyway. So they bring out some kind of a tracker. And Shigur is straight up like, fuck you. Like the Joker, he's like, I don't give a fuck about money. But he doesn't cackle and wear face paint and I'm the Joker. Blah, blah, blah. Instead, he's just like, this is a dishonor to me. The irony is he has honor. You know, the Joker is someone who's like, well, I've just gotten rid of honor. I'm beyond insane. Shigur's like, no, I have a sense of honor, but it's my sense of honor. It's specific to me. And everybody else is going to play my tune, or I'm just going to fuck them over. And that's why he's so goddamn evil. Because he has a purpose. He has something that drives him, that keeps him going, beyond just following orders from people. Even if they're paying him. He doesn't give a shit about money. He doesn't care. Now here we have Tommy Lee Jones and his green-ass sheriff coming in. This guy's a comedy actor. Fuck. I don't remember his name. He's like an SNL guy. He's like, can I please not be in SNL anymore? I'm really tired of what goes on behind this stage in SNL. I'm really sore. Can I be a real actor now? Tommy Lee Jones is like, well, you know, you go to a couple more of them parties and maybe I can bring you into the actual actor's zone. And the problem is the younger generation is not better adapted to how fucked up the world is because they're still trying to emulate their parents. And this is true of the police in this film, most notably. It's that, and again, we have a black pyramid in the center of the frame. Very cool. It's a pyramid-looking mountain. But the point I'm trying to make is that Tommy Lee Jones is trying to school this guy. He's his protege, his rookie. He's training the guy. And even this guy is totally naive and unprepared for the kind of gore and craziness that he's going to see. And Tommy Lee Jones is already sick of it. He's like, I've seen some shit, man. I've seen some hentai dojins with tentacles that I wish I hadn't seen. It's basically the case with this guy. And the problem is the younger generation is no more ready to confront that shit. They're actually exactly as naive as their parents because they've done such a good fucking job of stubbornly emulating all their beliefs and outlooks that they've emulated their sensitivities and they've emulated their weaknesses. And that's what this movie's whole point is. It's that it's the way that the States is going, and this is only 1980. I mean, imagine if this was 2024. I mean, you couldn't make this film. That's why it's set in 1980. Oh, I just realized he has a nice Masonic checkerboard saddle for his horse. Very nice reference, guys. How you doing? And the guy's sharp-eyed, you know, the young guy. He's like, well, you know, he knows the timeline of their deaths. He knows the style of their killing. He's a good cop. That's why Tommy Lee Jones has picked him, because he's not an idiot. But Tommy Lee Jones feels something. He's got that sixth sense. He's got his spidey sense activated. He knows something's wrong. He's like, where's the money? And something about this just feels wrong. He just feels like, this isn't a typical fuck-up of a drug deal. There's something else going on here. So, and I love that Shigur knocks. Again, he's got this twisted sense of like politeness and honor. He blows the door lock out. The shot of it making an impression in the door. Imagine the pain in the ass that you'd have to orchestrate. There's no fucking CGI in this. Or if there is, it's extremely minimal, if there's any. I don't think there's any. So they actually had to orchestrate a situation where some object punched that shape into a plank of wood in front of a camera to get that shot. That alone is a... Most directors would be like, oh, just do it with CGI. Who fucking cares? Like, this guy's like, no, do it for real. Actually put the effort in. Good fucking job, man. Again, I didn't want this review to just be me jacking off to how good this movie is. It is very good. But you know, again, I have some edits. I had an edit for the earlier part of the film with the discovery of the drug deal. Shigur's like, I think I'll make an omelet. 4 eggs. I think I'll have a glass of milk. Yes. I'm lactose intolerant, but I can't stop drinking it. I just love the taste. I'll be shitting 4 times today. That's what he's thinking about right now. He's like, I'm going to drink this milk, and I'm going to have 4 shits today. But I don't care. It's so creamy and delicious. Fucking Coke bottle door. We made it out of Coke bottles. My granny did that back in the Depression. And this woman is everything that he hates, but she has authority. And according to his honor, he can't just tie her up and torture her. He won't do it. Because she obeys a higher authority, like he does. So he sympathizes in his own creepy way. He can't give out no information. And again, you'd think, oh, he's going to torture her, he's going to shoot her, he's going to beat her up, he's going to do something. In a lurid fucking Tarantino movie, which the older I get, the more I'm like, they're great films, I don't want to watch them again. This is a billion times better than a fucking Tarantino film. You don't have to go full A24, you know, this is an atmospheric horror. But this movie strikes such a perfect balance between like Tarantino and, I don't know, some A24 movie. Because Shigur's character does not just kill that woman. Maybe it would be a liability to him. Maybe it'd be an unnecessary exposure. We don't know. But I think it's because she confronts him with some spice. She has cojones. She says, I am a servant of a different authority, a higher authority. You know, this trailer park authority. Or God, if you want to get religious and metaphorical. She basically confronts him on a level that he respects. And so he just backs off. He leaves her alone. Even though he could probably torture the information out of her and then just kill her and dump her body. He's an assassin. Surely he could do that, but he doesn't. It's because he has that shred of humanity. It's a dark part of humanity, but he still has it. And that's what makes him so fucking creepy. He takes his remnant of humanity and uses it in such a twisted way that it's inconceivable how fucked this guy is in the head. And of course, immediately Tommy Lee Jones, the veteran cop, he notices, oh, someone shot a fucking door lock into the couch. And Chigurh, it's implied, just leaves this shit because he either doesn't care or he wants them to find him. I don't know if he's careless enough to just leave that shit willy-nilly. Because again, he's careful enough not to fuck with the trailer park owner. And he leaves his milk behind. An obvious sort of bait. Like, ha, you can't fucking find me, coppers.
I'm too smart for you. Now have a glass of milk. This is 1980. You can't get my DNA from that milk glass. I know you also are not lactose intolerant, Tommy Lee Jones, so you should enjoy a nice glass of milk for your efforts. You've been a worthy opponent so far.
And again, same shot of him in the television set. Again, a reference to the televised portrayal of the American Western hero, the cop on TV, the cowboy on TV, the hero on TV, the superhero even, right? They're all in the TV, the villain and the hero. There's a little thread of the sort of Masonic idea that reality is a video game that certain beings choose to play. And again, I've said this in other videos, but you start the game, your memory's wiped because it makes the game more fun. And so when people say retarded things, retardando mode, musical things, of course, when they say those types of things like, I didn't choose to be born, how do you know? If reality is a holographic video game, which most religions and a lot of physicists agree is the most likely truth about reality, then why the fuck would you come here with all your memories intact? That would make the game boring as fuck. You ever played a game on God mode? It'd be like that. Who wants to play a game like that? Nobody. Not a single person. You get bored after like 5 minutes. So whatever role you choose to play in this little game, that scene I think is subtly referring to that, because you have the villain reflected in the television, and then you have the hero reflected with blue sky above them. Blue sky and clouds. It's like a nice Windows fucking XP screen background. God, I just love all the physical details in this. How he uses a pole to shove the money into the vent. He puts it way far back, puts a string there. But he doesn't know there's a tracker in it. He doesn't know. Doesn't know there's a little beeper in there. Should have checked the whole bag, you idiot. And again, watching this movie subsequent times, you get frustrated because you're like, oh, he could have done this, he could have done that. A lot of those things are perfect because the average person in this situation would be so full of adrenaline and unable to focus that they would just be rocking back and forth crying in an alleyway, or they would have gone to the cops or whatever. This guy is trying to keep it together. He's trying to do what's best for him and his wife. He's trying to keep them safe, and he's trying to keep the fucking money, because that's life-changing money in 1980, man. That is move to Puerto Rico and live for 40 years kind of money, or even live in the fucking States for another 20 years without having to work. It's a life-changing thing. So he's being smart trying to keep it, but he's not being smart because he missed the bag. He should have checked right to the bottom. But, again, back in 1980, fucking GPS trackers were not really a common thing. Guys, I don't know if you know, but the iPhone wasn't a thing in 1980. All you Zoomers out there, we actually didn't have iPhones until 2007, if you can believe. In fact, that's the year this movie came out. Ooh, coincidence. So he hides the money. Bad idea to park your truck there, man. I would have parked my truck in the McDonald's across the street. I wouldn't have parked it right in front of my room. Again, there's little mistakes this guy makes, but I shouldn't call him stupid for making them. Again, he's thinking on his feet. This is he's in a situation that most of us would not be able to cope with in any way, and he's doing a pretty damn good job coping with it. I do still think that not executing the Mexican guy at the beginning was a big fucking mistake. But because he's a good guy, our viewers of this film, our average idiot watching this in 2007, would probably have thought, oh, he's like a bad guy too, because he killed that guy. Oh my god, why did my boyfriend take me to this movie? I'm unsubscribing from our relationship. Swiped left. So, you can't write the hero as that much of an anti-hero. That's why I love the Riddick movies. Riddick is fucking great. They're corny, they're cheesy, but we got to do a commentary on the Riddick films. I'm definitely going to be uploading that. I've been wanting to do that for a while, so hint, hint, we're going to do that. Oh, of course he has a Dodge Ram with the satanic horns on the front there. That's great. Fuck, there's so many good details in this. That's so fucking good. Tries to shoot a raven. Ooh. Bad omen, my friend. You just sent your bullet vibrations through the whole bridge like a dark song. Bad fucking idea. Bad omen to try to kill a raven. For no reason. I feel like that scene was stupid too, because this guy does not kill for no reason. He kills people who he deems to be useless and repugnant and offensive to reality and to karma. He has a creepy, dark, twisted morality to him. He wouldn't just shoot a bird randomly. But maybe he's creeped out by ravens. I don't know, maybe that's part of his twisted sense of spirituality. Who knows? Anyway, these guys are in a nice Texas cafe. I bet that breakfast is really fucking tasty, man. God, I just wanna sit down there and order a fucking Grand Slam.
Tina's range gear. It's where I buy all my ammunition. Hell yeah, brother.
It's like, have you figured out that I'm doing a shotgun mod? This guy's playing fucking Fallout New Vegas. If you get the tent pole item from New Vegas, you can attach it to the shotgun that you get. That's another... I gotta replay that game, man. That game is fucking fire. So good. And the casting in this, I should say, it's fucking perfect, man. Like all these old, sun-baked, crusty-ass 1980 women with like fucking 1930s clothes they're still wearing. Again, it's the stubbornness of addiction to the past, as if the past is perfect. There's nothing from the past we should ever change. Everything was right during the 50s, or the 20s, or the 1880s. Pick your period. The ancient Greeks thought that the past, from their perspective, was better. There's a term for it. Obsession about the past being perfect and not needing any revision whatsoever. I feel like a lot of people in the States still feel that way. And you set yourself up to be a fatted calf for whatever grifter, con man, or artist, or magician, or false messiah is selling you some vision of the past. A lot like a certain golden-haired man is selling certain people. And you are setting yourself up to be sacrificed, and they do it with joy. They're like cows with a smile on their face, walking to the slaughterhouse. And it's slow, man. It doesn't happen right away, but it happens. Just wait. Wait another 30 or 40 years. This commentary hopefully will still be around. Maybe it won't. Whatever. But people who ally themselves with any person who clearly has a life path that involves gathering thralls, you will be nothing more than a thrall, and you will be used and disposed of when necessary. And it doesn't have to be politics, and doesn't have to even be religion. It can be anything. It can be a fucking yoga scam. It can be a fucking, I don't know, Bowflex. It can be some bullshit. It can be beard oil. It can be anything. And it's not to say you shouldn't trust anybody, but for fuck's sake, it's pretty fucking obvious the people who are trying to con you. They want your money in exchange for some promise of some thing or some miracle. I mean, this has been going on for thousands of years, and I feel like Antoine Chigurh, it's like,
People are so fucking stupid, I should just kill them all.
this movie's blackpilling, man. It's blackpilling me. Ooh. Ooh, those black pills. Spicy. Like black pepper straight to your brain. That's the real black pill. Take some black pepper and you'll see how sober you can really get. So he's... Oh, God, the way that thing ticks. The little GPS monitor thing. Fucking hell.
He's like, all right, time to perform a Texas abortion. Trump got elected, so I'm going to be doing my due diligence and handing these coat hangers out to homeless women everywhere. We got to curb the excess population, just like Scrooge said. That's why I'm making these coat hangers here. Maybe I'll sell them on Etsy. I'm sure, a lot of women browse that site. Probably buy these coat hangers straight up there. Make a killing. I don't even need the money. Antoine can have it. I figured out a new business, selling coat hangers on Etsy.
Oh, and Antoine's hair is getting a bit disheveled. He's getting a little tired of this bullshit. And I love his strategy. Our main character, very clever to rent a room and then leave, and then rent another room where he can grab the money. Very fucking clever. And he doesn't even know there's a fucking tracker in here. That's what's great about this, is he's smart enough, even though he missed the tracker, he's still smart enough to hide the money between rooms. God, this is so fucking tense, man. Watching this for the first time, you feel like you're about to puke. These scenes are so goddamn tension-inducing. I mean, this movie is like pure tension. It's pure fucking drama. Hitchcock would have fucking had a heart attack if he saw this. It's so good. And again, Antoine's got this little ritual. He takes off his shoes. Creepily human. The creepiest thing about an inhuman villain is when they do human things. They have these little moments, these little glimpses that they were once a person. Oh my God, man. He's turning on the gas chamber gas. Watch out. He's tracking you. The tank and the gun. And he's in his fucking socks. He doesn't care how he looks. That's another thing about Chigurh. Being in your stocking feet is kind of emasculating. The spectacle, the visual of it. He doesn't give a shit about humiliation. He doesn't give a shit about looking emasculated. He doesn't care how he looks. He has a goal in mind, and he's going to do it, regardless of how anybody makes him look. Brilliant portrayal of a villain. Absolutely brilliant. Sets it down quietly so it doesn't make a noise on the pavement. Oh my God, man. Come on, make that abortion happen. You can do it. Ooh, pull the money fetus out of the metal canal. Oh my God. Antoine's using his penis to open the door. Hurry. Good Lord, he just disintegrates the guy's arm. Fuck's sake. Closes the door with his foot. The detail in this, too, man. Bothering to telegraph this, or to let your actors do it. Either way, the result is fucking fantastic.
They don't make movies like they used to.
That's the irony of this is, oh man. His shotgun silencer looks like fucking, I don't even want to say it. It's like 3 circles. Ugh. Creepy shit. Looks like something creepy. And he's like, well, the money's got to be here somewhere. But I just killed 3 people, so I have to process that for a moment.
He's like, my therapist told me that when I murder more than 2 people at once within a span of 5 minutes, I should take my socks off and meditate for a moment. That way I can process the deaths and be a better assassin in the future.
I love doing his voice, man. Such a fucking evil ass voice. Nobody hide, no money under the bed.
I should check the pillows if they left it under there for the tooth fairy, perhaps.
You should go to a fucking barber, man. Good Lord, the hair is not doing you any favors. I guess if it's the style at the time, you know, he's got to blend in, but
he's like, I've played this game too many times as the hero, so I decided to play the villain this time. And they said I could remember some of my past playthroughs if I was going to play the villain, because in 2007 the movies did not have good enough villains. So I said, okay.
He's taking an Uber. It's like, goddamn white folks and their assassins. Shouldn't be doing that. He's right. The trope of the wise black man. I think that trope gets a bad rap, man. The wise old man is like it's like arguably the most important Jungian archetype, because without the wise old man, everybody else would be shit out of luck. So when you cast a black guy in that role, everybody goes, ooh, he's like the Uncle Tom wise black guy. And it's like, no, he's the wise old man of any fucking race. And to put him in that role, it's a fucking honor for anybody to be put in that role in any media. It's not a fucking slight. It's not leaning on some trope. So sick of that shit. Like, look at things through archetypes, not identity. Jung was the last good humanities academic and philosopher. His interpretations, his way of interpreting text and interpreting media and reality in turn, because most of it's dependent on text, was the last good way of doing it. Everything after that has been a fucking meme. I hope to God we go back to interpreting things through a Jungian lens. And I'm no huge fanboy of like Jordan Peterson. He's a Jungian psychiatrist. And he's right when he talks about how if you look at the video game of reality through a Jungian lens, you will play a better game this time around. And the next time, and the time after that, if you want to come back. Which is up to you. It's not up to any god. It's your choice whether you come back here or not. I believe that. So if we all looked at Jung's work a little bit more, instead of dismissing him as the crusty white boy, again, films like this, I mean, looking at this through a Jungian perspective, my God, man. Shigur is like the collective shadow of the entire United States concentrated into one golem body. It's fucking horrifying. He's the part of everybody that they don't want to acknowledge. And because so many people are so stubborn about obsessing about the past and not adapting to the future, like all life on Earth adapts. If you don't adapt, in evolutionary terms, you're fucked. When you refuse to adapt, time goes backwards. Shit gets evil. Shit gets bad. And from a Jungian perspective, Shigur is like this manifestation of all the fucking boomers and tumors, which is the generation before the boomers, in my little verbal way of putting it. They are all stuck in the past because they've been exposed to such exorbitant luxury for so long. They've had opportunities for luxury. Enough of them have. A lot of them didn't have good upbringings. They had rough childhoods. Very rough. Not diminishing that. But if by the time you're 35 or 40, you have 30 years of leisure, by the time you're the quote-unquote wise old man or woman that you're supposed to be, you're going to be full of shit. Because your last 30 years have been nothing but farting around, doing nothing. You've been very comfortable, maybe too comfortable. Again, I don't know anything about that. I'm not making any hard judgments. I'm just riffing, guys. It's what I do on this channel. These are just thoughts coming into my head. But the point I'm trying to make is that if you look at this film archetypally, you have the flawed hero who's trying to maintain his morality. You have Shigur, who is the pure shadow embodiment. He is the karmic balance that all these people around him, you know, these idiots who got lucky, like the gas station guy, that's one type of person. Our main character, you know, he's struggling in his life, but man, he got lucky finding the money. Wasn't that a lucky thing? He used his tracking skills to find where the money was. Very clever, but that cleverness comes with a price. And then you have Woody Harrelson's character, who we just saw a minute ago in the sort of corporate assassin kind of zone, where Shigur was working for a guy, and he just straight up killed his boss. The boss made a bad call hiring him. Didn't understand what he was doing. And this movie, funnily enough, came out around the same time as The Dark Knight, where a lot of people underestimated the Joker. Like Shigur's character in this was underestimated by his boss, who immediately was killed. Woody Harrelson is still subservient to his boss. He still serves a kind of authority, a kind of code. But it's not his code. It's not individualist. And America's the land of the individual. Demons running free, trying to bind themselves. I'm sure nothing will go wrong there. The point I'm trying to make is that Shigur's character has his own code and Woody Harrelson doesn't. Harrelson is following the rules of the assassin hierarchy. He's working for a corporation as a private assassin. He's a mercenary. He's a merc. And there's a great scene between them later, which we'll have to talk about while it's happening. It's so goddamn good, man. Also, the painting in this scene is worth noting. Tommy Lee Jones has a monologue at the end of the film about two men carrying fire through the mountains. It's a metaphor for Promethean knowledge or for the next generation, etc. Morality, goodness, humanity, that sort of thing. The choice to put that painting in this scene is a good choice, even if it was unintentionally done. Thematically it works. It happens to work with the point of the film, which is, despite all the evil and despite all the stubbornness, despite people hearkening back to the past to the point of self-destruction, idiocy, whatever, there are always going to be a few men, just a few, who carry that torch at any cost forward into the future. That's a hopeful message that this movie has. And my God, the scene of him sitting in the dark. The lamp is right above his gun. the light of the gun. The gun and the light. The tracker's right next to him. He's baiting him. The balls on this guy. He doesn't even know who he's baiting. Maybe he thinks it's some random Mexican. We don't know. Oh my God, man. Holy shit. God damn. This scene is the fucking definition of tension, man. Oh my God. He knows he was looking for your feet, you fuck. He wants you to not know when he's at the door. God damn. You missed your chance. You could have shot him. Again. God damn. And this guy's fast. He's a hunter. But is he fast enough? Holy shit. Oh, kitty. There's a theme of milk in this. I'm thinking of The Godfather with the oranges, that schizo interpretation of that movie. Where it's like every time you see oranges, there's a death. Every time you see milk, Antoine Chigurh shows up. And there's another movie that used milk symbolically called Clockwork Orange. Milk represents the mother's milk normally, but in a corrupted way. If you were to corrupt that representation, to reverse it, it would be blood. And Mad Max Fury Road did this with the tankard full of milk, where the main character washes the blood off his hands in the milk. But it mingles the two, it mixes the two. It mixes blood with milk. When you're an infant, milk is nourishment, it's protein, it immunizes you against the diseases that your mother has defeated. And when you're a creepy vampire, cultic, satanic adult, you drink blood. And it has blood that's extracted from people who've suffered, of course, which produces adrenochrome. So I think that Antoine Chigurh in this being associated with milk is an interesting choice. It harkens back to Clockwork Orange. Again, oh my God, dude. He thought he could escape in a fucking car. Straight up shot.
Sorry, man, I'll give you 5 stars on Uber for this. Your children will know you died with a 5-star Uber rating.
God damn it. This fucking scene. I'd rather watch this than any cheesy-ass samurai fight scene from some kung fu movie or whatever. It's just so goddamn perfect. It's perfectly filmed. Every fucking shot is perfect. Creepy neon logo reflected in the window. It looks a little bit like a bull, a little bit satanic there with red text. Triangular horned animal visage at the top there of the neon sign. Every little detail in this. It just all chimes. It just works. His face is fucking pale. He doesn't even look fazed by any of this. He sees the blood. Follow the trail, just like a tracker. Oh! Stop wasting your ammo, you fucking idiot. Goddamn moron, fucking redneck. Save your fucking shots. Ugh, every time I root for this guy, I'm like, if I root for him hard enough, the movie will change, right, guys? It's a mark of a good movie. It makes you do that. It makes you feel that. That's called connecting with the character. It's an ancient form of movie making that has been lost for many decades. Ooh, and then we hard cut. He must have hit him. Didn't look like he did. Now you gotta go to Mexico without letting them know you're bleeding to death and have a ton of money. These poor fucking kids, they're like, whoa, we were just listening to Zeppelin and getting high. What's this bleeding guy doing here? Whoa, dude. The modern day equivalent would be like, we were just watching fucking Logan Paul videos, bro. What's up with you? You need a prime? It'll rehydrate you. Maybe, fix you up a bit. Smart guys. They're smarter than this fucking guy. And monetary exchanges in this are always involved with blood. Anytime in this movie anybody exchanges money, they're exchanging blood. Pay attention to that. It's always true. Money is a representation of effort. What is effort? Effort is a form of sacrifice. What is sacrifice? Usually it involves blood or time or sweat. It involves exertion. It involves sacrificing your physical body's vitality for something outside it, which is fundamentally fucked. I'm not saying the alternatives are any better. Social credit is equally evil. That's just money virtualized into the judgment of a totalitarian core that determines whose effort matters and whose effort doesn't. That's no good either. It's almost like the exchange of one object for another object was the best way to function as a society. Grain for gold, rocks for other rocks, whatever the fuck. When we came up with money, we came up with a way to represent blood and suffering with a veil. A nice, pretty little veil. Oh, we'll use money. That doesn't mean we're evil. It's fine. Your effort and your blood and everything, it doesn't matter anymore. It's all just numbers now. Numbers represent everything. Numbers can encompass morality. Math can encompass everything. Every type of human behavior can be just reduced to numbers. Oh, we're so clever. Enjoy your time in hell if you actually believe that. You'll end up like this fucker. You'll wake up to these guys playing your death your death knell as a mariachi band. Holy shit. They stop playing when they see how fucked up he is. Holy shit, dude. Jesus. And he's right in front of a church. What does that mean? What could that mean? He gives up the last of his money, like the old woman in the Bible, who donates her last penny, and it's worth more than the king, who donates 10 chests of gold when he has another 1,000 under his palace. It's the last thing this guy has. It's all he's got. He's desperate. Obviously. But Antoine's been injured too in this fight. but he's not relying on people to save him. What makes him so powerful is he's independent. He doesn't need to rely on people. He uses tricks to get what he wants. He's careful, he's calculating, he's everything our main character was trying to be. But those same abilities, those same ways of clawing his way through existence are enhanced by his inhumanity. That's why this movie is so brilliant, because both characters are flawed and both characters are clever at the same time. They both know how to serve their own interests. And in the end, both of them equally fail. He walks in knowing it's going to blow up, it's going to distract them, and here I go, into the pharmacy. Oh!
Give me all your Oxycontin. I need it. My back is blown out from deadlifting the wrong way to try to flex to attract women.
He's got the TV on for like no reason. God, he's starting to sweat. Ugh. Again, he's a human being. His body is human. He's just like everybody else. Demons are not supernatural. They're just fucked up people. He's so vulnerable. He's so vulnerable, he's sweating. Oh God, the buckshot on his leg. Jesus Christ. God, that would burn like hell. Lidocaine, that's the good shit. That's what I take every day. That's how I can do these commentaries. Sterilizes the tweezers. Good man. Good thing, whoever the fuck he is. I love it. With his legs crossed. This looks like a Greek sculpture. That shot of him sitting on the fucking toilet, pulling buckshot out of his leg. I mean, he's in good shape. That's why it looks like that. But the posture he has, the way it's shot, the way it's lit, it's so good, man. It's the best. There's very few movies that have come out since this that are this good. Overall. He knows the amount to give himself. He knows the amount that won't fucking knock him out, won't kill him. He's researched it. He understands. He knows it. Holy shit. What a fucking demon. And Tommy Lee Jones is like, nah, don't do any more research. I'll just go by my gut, because that's usually right. God, the bags under his eyes, man. Perfect casting for this character. An old cop. Old Texas cop. I gotta deal with demons who own guns every fucking day. I've been doing it for 25 years. Good motto. Good man. Ah, and he notices just out of the corner of his eye. That truck is a little fucky. What's going on with that? He's like, you're transporting bodies, man, for fuck's sake. Ooh. It's Hansel from Zoolander. Hey man, wanna go skydiving in the Himalayas? It's really cool. Let's do some ayahuasca and fucking talk to the shamans, bro. That movie fucking ruined Owen Wilson for me. That and Wedding Crashers, which I think he was in. May have just been Zoolander, but his character's been in so many comedies. It's, man. The only thing that made me take him seriously was True Detective Season 1, which you need to watch. True Detective Season 1 is fucking 10 out of 10. Absolutely great. And this guy's like an angel, but he's arrogant. He's got the blue eyes and the white skin. Oh, them white boy angels. He's even got a white hat. It's like those nuns that wear them white hats. Ooh, they're so angelic, aren't they? And so he's sort of offering him a way out. He's like, if you give me the money and you get out of this game you're trying to play, you don't even know what you're doing. You don't know what game you're playing. That's why I don't choose to play any games. I'd rather rot alone, isolated, than play any of these fucking games. Because they're pathetic. Every one of them. Pathetic, boring, tired bullshit. Religion, science, cults, anything. It's all boring crap. I would rather play with myself than play any of these fucking games. Go fuck yourself. A la Elon Musk. Go fuck yourself. Fuck off. Rather die in a gutter like Edgar Allan Poe wearing somebody else's clothes than play any of these fucking games. I've played them all. But this guy's not that nihilistic. His perspective is, oh, I'm gonna win. I'm a winner. I'm an underdog. I'm gonna win. I'm Texas T. My name's Texas T, and I'm gonna win every game. I'm gonna gamble. I'm gonna go to the slots and stand at a machine staring at a glowing screen for 37 hours and waste all my money and then blow my brains out. I'm gonna play the game, the epic game, chess. Ooh, seems you've lost, and the price for losing, your soul. Ooh, would have been maybe better if you hadn't played. And so, rubber banding back to the film, Tommy Lee Jones has found our main character's wife. And Tommy Lee Jones, being honest with her, being straight, it's like, look, it's into some fucked up shit. And he's like, your husband might think he can be a badass, but he's not fucking Christ. He's just a dude. He's just a guy. Oh, God. He's a polite guy. He's an old guy. Some things are good from the past. Some things should be preserved. Basic respect, basic social politeness. Obviously that should be preserved. But stubbornness, inability to adapt, inability to confront the weirdness of the new evil. The new evil is weird. And the new good is weird. So if you can't confront weirdness, you are royally fucked. You're in the dust bin of history. You're in the midden heap. And no archaeologist is going to dig you up. You're not going to even fossilize. You're going to be ground down to dust if you can't adapt. And again, he's being very honest. He's like, I don't even know what I'm trying to tell you. I'm just telling you your husband's in fucking danger. Like, I can't be specific, or else I'd have to lie to you. And I'm not going to lie. And then we cut to Harrelson. He's like, He's smart. He's like, if I was going to hide money, where would I hide it? I'd probably throw it over the fence between the border. And this fucking idiot, this moron, is so ass-lickingly subservient to his corpo overlords that he doesn't grab the fucking money. If he'd had it with him, he might have had a chance. He might have had a chance if he'd just gone down and grabbed it. But he's like, I'm an angel, I can't intervene in human affairs. Not unless my boss tells me, 'cause he's my daddy man, my boss. I kiss his butthole every day. Should have grabbed the money, you moron. It was your last chance. Again, there's a lot of like last chances in this movie that characters extremely frustratingly avoid. Like they're like, it's like, oh, there's my last chance. I can literally see it. It's in front of my face. I'm gonna not take it. It's like, God damn it, man. And I love it. Shigur just floats in behind him. He's like,
Let's go to your room. I've got lube here. I've got P. Diddy baby oil. We're going to have a fun time before I kill you. My gun is going to penetrate you in many more ways than one, Carson. You're going to take off your cowboy hat before the end. And I'm going to fill it with a substance that you're not going to predict.
and again, Carson's so naive, man. He's like, I can buy off a demon with money. Demons love money, right? No, you moron. They love pain, suffering, torture, playing with you. That's what they love. That's their true currency. If you try to buy them with money, they're going to fucking laugh at you. They're going to be like, real blood, real pain. That's worth 1,000,000,000 times more than any paper bills you can give me. This motherfucker does not want or need money. You complete idiot. You naive Icarus burning in the sun.
Your hat is like little wings, Carson, and they're on fire. I can see the flames burning around your head, but you can't see them because your eyes have been closed by your corporate masters, and so you can't even see me coming after you and all your kind. You are totally blind, and you will remain so. This is my design.
I love this line. The rule you followed brought you to this. Of what use was it? The golden rule, maybe? The rule of authority, of whatever? He was a corporate assassin, not an independent. And in the U.S., independence is the norm. Us, the Legion, more than one. We are many. The U.S. is us, demons, running around, killing each other, killing angels, killing people. This is all metaphorical. I want to make that clear. This movie is summoning up these Jungian archetypes, as I talked about before. The best way to look at this type of content that's actually good is to interpret it through a Jungian lens, because you will always derive more immutable conclusions from the imagery that you're seeing or the text that you're reading, and you'll be able to argue for their validity a hell of a lot more consistently than if you use some bullshit post-Jungian, postmodern, post-postmodern bullshit interpretation. The last good way to interpret reality, illusion, whatever, was through a Jungian lens. Because Jung and his contemporaries like guy who wrote Hero with a Thousand Faces, Joseph Campbell and Carl Jung, they solved it. And they were buried, or they tried to bury them for solving the problem of interpreting human content. Interpreting human content is very simple. You follow Carl Jung and you follow Joseph Campbell, because they analyzed multiple cultures. They didn't just look at whiteys or blackies or yellows or blues or greens or purples. They looked at everybody and they said, what are the commonalities? Let's use logic, our gift from God, logical thinking, to analyze human stuff. And the conclusions they came up with are universally applicable, to the point where the academic industry, controlled by corporations just like Carson is in this scene, he's subservient to the will of his corporate benefactors. It's like fucking Dr. Breen from Half-Life 2. It's the same shit. And he dies because of it. Because it's an improper, incomplete, incorrect way of looking at the world. It leads to disaster for whoever follows it. But if you follow people like Carl Jung, people like Joseph Campbell, and there are others, if you follow those types of interpretations, you will get a little bit closer to the truth, very slowly. It takes work. It's not easy to do this. You have to read some fucking books. You have to actually take some time. But movies like this function as proof of that, because the characters in these types of movies, these good movies made by real people that are about real shit, the characters that disobey or divert from those types of life paths or philosophies or interpretations, they get fucked hard. That's how it is. And if you compare that with reality, it's kind of the same thing. Most of the time, people who divert from these types of interpretations generally end up miserable. I wonder why that is. Maybe it's some other thing. Maybe I can use mental gymnastics to blame something else. I will now do an acrobatic performance for you that could amaze Olympic judges in my brain to try to figure out what else it could be. Perhaps it's the patriarchy. Perhaps it's I wonder what it could be. Maybe it's aliens. Maybe it's something incredibly exotic and made up in the last 50 years to rape your brain. Or maybe it's what Carl Jung figured out 70 fucking years ago. That's all I'm saying, guys. Check it out. I love this border guard, man. He's like a... Are you jacking me off, son? Are you grabbing my penis and trying to jack me off? Because I may be gay, but I don't want you to jack me off because I ain't drank with you. I ain't gone to a gay bar with you. And finally, he says, well, I was in Nam. So, because he says, I bled for the country, I bled for the creepy-ass country that demands blood, I have a way back in. Isn't that interesting? Wouldn't it be great if that system didn't have to exist? If nobody had to bleed like this? Wouldn't that be a better way of making a society? That's just a random, crazy theory I have. Wouldn't it be great if people didn't have to bleed and suffer to get basic, natural, normal, human rights? And I'm not talking about rights, like the government and cults and religions, and even science defines them. Mostly you can replace R-I-G-H-T with R-I-T-E. Those are the rights you've really got. You've got the R-I-T-E to give away your blood. What a privilege to be able to sacrifice myself to demons or to ungrateful, nothing people. I reject that option, that offer, fundamentally. And anyone with half a fucking brain or with their soul intact will reject it. I hope you are all rejecting it in your own lives in whatever small ways you can. Don't work a shitty job. That's one way to do it. Don't give away your time. Don't stay with a shitty partner just because you feel like you have to perform for society. If you don't want to be with anybody, don't be with anybody. I mean, people walk paths that aren't their own. They walk paths that are written for them by somebody they don't even know, someone they've never even met, never even seen. Holy fuck. Okay, now Antoine has gone all the way up. Now, this is one of the best scenes in the movie. He's gone up to Woody Harrelson's boss, and he's like, your Woody Harrelson guy was so fucking pathetic that I not only had to kill him, I had to kill his boss. And he asks this guy, who are you? And he says, nobody. First of all, he doesn't give him his name. Good choice. Good choice. And this guy, he's like,
You picked the one right tool.
now, one of the best conundrums in the whole film. This guy says, are you going to shoot me? And Chigurh looks at him. And he says, do you see me? That is the best line in the whole film. Do you see me? And we never know how the guy answered. And here's the conundrum. If he answers no, he's lying to Chigurh about literally seeing him, right? But we don't know what Chigurh's line of questioning is. By Chigurh's twisted logic, he's just fucking with this guy, right? Or is he? Like the coin flip with the gas station guy, is he giving this guy an out? Is he saying, you have two choices. You can be honest with me and say, yes, I see you, and maybe you'll be killed. Or you can say, no, I don't see you, and maybe I'll interpret that as a lie. Again, he's torturing him on a level that is 1,000 times more fucked up than any Batman, Joker, bullshit, anti-gun, comic villain shit. He's torturing him on a level that is almost unbelievable for a person to be able to torture another person on. He's so inhuman, he's so demonic, he's so fucked up that even asking him that kind of a question in that situation, it's like inconceivable. It's like, who would even say that? And so what would you answer? If I were the guy, I wouldn't answer yes or no. I would say something else. You'd have to not say something that was like a coin flip. You'd have to fuck with him somehow to entertain him, keep yourself alive. I don't know what I would say. Man, if I was that poor fucker in the office, I would say something like, I would say, I don't know if I've seen you. And I would wait for his response. I think maybe that would be good. Again, he's a demon, so saying anything to him, you don't know if he's just going to kill you anyway. But I always have sympathy for that guy more than the fucking main character, because he's thrust into this situation where he's just a random asshole. And, what are you going to say to this guy? Oh, God. And then he opens his hood like his truck is dead, waits for a victim, waits for an idiot, waits for a guy to scam, to con, to bring into his religion, to bring into his cult, to bring into his political party. Same crap over and over and over and over and over again. For thousands of years, this has been the case. Are we tired of it yet? Are we ready to change the system so that these types of people can't exist? Are we tired of them yet? Can we just all collectively, all of us, every conscious being on this planet, can we just agree that we're tired of these people? Like, we should expel them by any means necessary because their way of playing the game is not fun anymore. It's boring. It's played out. Can we get some different players in the game? Anybody else would be better than these fucking tired, old people. I mean, my God. Am I the only one who's tired of it? Maybe that's the case. If that's the case, then fine. You know what? Ignore everything I've said. No, we have a nice siren temptress tempting Odysseus here. And if he hadn't been tempted, maybe things would have turned out differently. It's very, very Odyssean. She's sitting next to a fucking pool. Odysseus' whole thing was he sailed around the ocean and got tempted by women. Very clear callback to the Odyssey, to the Homeric epics. You know, she's tempting him, clearly. But in the context of this movie, he's tired, he's worn out, and he also thinks he's beaten Shigur. And then enter Tommy Lee Jones. There go the Mexicans jumping in their car. Oh man, stop at Long John Silver's. They have some good fried fish. I'm a sucker for fried fish myself, man. It's some good shit. But poor Tommy Lee Jones, how many times in his years has he seen this? Case number 500 of the same shit over and over and over. It's like logging into this game for the 5 billionth time and seeing the same game. And he speaks Spanish. He says, call the police. And there's our main character. There's our hero. That's the end. Odysseus was defeated by a simple siren. Probably she wasn't working for the cartel. It's no conspiracy. It's just he got distracted and they found him and they fucked him up. He takes off his hat and she knows what that means. She gets it. And he's just looking at him as if he can extract from his body some kind of truth, some clue, anything. And he says, nope, I can't. I'm going to talk to my 500-pound supervisor here. He didn't have the money on him. Why did Antoine kill him? If he didn't have the money, people are only motivated by money, right? Not by its base or its root objects or things, aka blood, suffering, etc. There's no way people would want those more than the veil draped over them with paper bills and cheap metal coins. No, they must want the money. Everybody just wants money. There are good people and bad people in this world that have no interest in money. And the system considers both equally dangerous. I wonder why the good people hide when they're placed in the same category as the demons. I wonder why they hide. I wonder why they refuse to speak the truth. I wonder why they lie. Maybe it's because they know they're in the same camp as the demons anyway, so who the fuck cares anymore? Who cares? If you don't like money, you're considered such a deviant. You could be a scat fetishist. You could be a trans person who's into BDSM. You could be anything. Furry, whatever. As long as you like money, you're okay in our book. What if I don't? What if I want nothing to do with it? What if I oppose its existence? What then? What are you going to do to me? You're throwing away the baby with the bathwater. There are a lot of people who would love to participate in society. And they don't want free shit, they don't want handouts, they don't want UBI, they don't want basic free communist crap. They just want to live in a society that isn't obsessed with money. That's it. And that may never exist, and so what? So what? Then you'll never get our insight, you'll never get our thoughts, you'll never download our thoughts to the great server in the sky. We'll never be on the server that everybody downloads themselves to. We will destroy ourselves and our knowledge before we join with anything that repugnant. And we will delight in depriving the rest of you of what we would have told you, because your system is sickening to us. Now, let's throw Bam back to the movie. Chigurh is behind the door, and Tommy Lee Jones, it's a very quick scene, he sees Chigurh's face reflected in the brass of the blown out door knob. And he opens the door. And Chigurh is right behind him. He's just, from the viewer's perspective, he's just to the left. And Jones walks in. And he says, "Here I am. I'm the old hero. I'm the hero of the Wild West. I'm here to confront you." And Chigurh just stays hidden. And Jones looks at the blood. And he knows the guy's behind the door. He knows he's here. He says, "I want you to confront me man to man like John Wayne." He wants Chigurh to emerge from the door and look him in the eye. He even goes into the bathroom. He makes himself vulnerable. His back's turned to the whole room. But Chigurh's too smart. He says, "I don't care." And there's a window that's open. Maybe Chigurh left. Maybe he escaped. But I think, in my interpretation, he's still behind the door. I think he's hiding right behind the door. He's cramped up against the wall. Even if he left, whatever. The point is, Tommy Lee Jones is denied the hero's confrontation with the villain. And he sees a coin, and it's heads up. That's important. It's like Chigurh flipped it for him. He said, "You're an old man." Chigurh had a twisted respect for him, and he said, "I never flip the coin for my victims, but this coin I flipped for you." So it's like the devil spared him, which is a hell of a thing. Why would you be spared by the devil if not to suffer more? And Jones, he's so grizzled, man. He's like bacon. He's so fucking fried. Been spent too much time in the Texas sun, boy. And this is his buddy or his dad or somebody. And he's succumbed to the toxoplasmosis aliens, the Lyrans. He's like, "Well, I'll just be a vessel for the Lyrans from now on. I'm an old man anyway. I ain't gonna breed, and none of my kids are gonna be schizo 'cause the parasites are in my cum. So I'll just hang out with the cats. They're not that evil, you know. They're only evil if you overindulge. If you got a weak immune system, anything's evil." Tommy Lee Jones is like, "I don't know about that. That's some occult knowledge the Madman viewers ain't even ready for yet. I'm just gonna make some bad coffee here." It's like coffee that's been sitting there for like 3 days. This guy's brain is totally infested with toxoparasites, man. He's totally fucked. Fresh pot every week. Maybe coffee lasts. I don't know. Oh, God, Angola? That makes hell look like a theme park. The guy that crippled him, put him in the chair, is dead. All the time you spend trying to get back what's been taken for you, you might as well just put a tourniquet on it. Again, stop trying to revive a past that doesn't fucking exist. again, he couldn't confront Shigur. I think he chose not to. I think he knew he was behind the door. Tommy Lee Jones knew he was there, and he said, in his mind, he thought, I can't deal with this guy. He's more than I can handle. I'm going to retreat. And that's why he's quitting, is because he's encountered something that has finally made him actually give up. He's given up. And he feels ashamed, but he's being honest. He's being truthful. He's saying, I am not capable of fighting this kind of demon anymore. I need to bow out. And I'm worried that the next generation won't be able to do it, but I can't do anything about it. I just have to bow out. You know, I'm not going to die needlessly for nothing. Good God. Uncle Mac and his shotgun, Uncle McDonald's. They were like, we want the fries cooked in beef tallow instead of seed oils. And Ronald McDonald came out and said, haha, no way, fuckers. I don't know why he sounds like Mickey Mouse. And they shot him. They killed Ronald McDonald that day and demanded that fries be fried in beef tallow so as not to dilute our fat reserves with nasty testosterone depleting shit that rots the brains of the men. Based Ronald McDonald, man. Salute Ronald. Set up a mausoleum. Set up a fucking epitaph for Ronald McDonald. Let's write a eulogy for Ronald right now. And Jones is asking, well, when did this guy die? Kalish, that's fucking difficult to dig. That's hard ground. Can't stop what's coming. Change, newness, mutation, adaptation. You have to adapt. If you can't adapt, you will rot. You will go to hell if you can't adapt. Adaptation is divine. Logic and adaptation. Those are our two twin divinities that we have access to as human beings. Logic and adaptation. Adaptation is animal, it's physical. Logic is divine. When you combine the two, you survive. If you get too reliant on one or the other, you stray. You get left behind. And here is our main character's wife. She's just come back from her husband's fucking funeral. And guess who's here to see her? Very Michael Myers scene with the curtains blowing. But we don't see his face. He's already there. It's creepier than Michael Myers. This is a dab on that scene in Halloween where Jamie Foster looks out and sees Michael Myers in the curtains in the laundry blowing in the wind. This is creepier. This is the Coen brothers saying it's creepier if he's just sitting in your fucking house already. There he is. And she's got a butterfly necklace, Project Monarch. She's a professional CIA whore. I hope that all burns to the ground. That's some satanic, nasty shit. And the people who orchestrated it should be brought to the noose, one by one, publicly. Retribution. Not revenge. Retribution. Justice. Without truth, there can be no justice. And he's saying to her, he's like, I gave your husband a chance. He knew I was a force, or I tried to convey I was, and he set you up to account for his own sins. He made you the scapegoat that would face me. That's according to Antoine's logic. It's fucked up. Evil shit. That's what he's thinking in this scene. He's thinking, well, I gave him a chance. He says, that's what they always say. And she goes, you don't. And now this is a scene. This is so genius. She is like the veritable Virgin Mary. She's trying to save this guy, even though he's a fucking demon. She's like, you actually have a chance with me to abandon your life of evil. And Antoine Chigurh's character, his last chance, would have been to listen to her because she was telling him the truth. She says, no, I refuse to call it. Because she says the coin doesn't mean anything. Money doesn't mean anything. And he goes, well, I'm just like money. I flowed here, like blood, like suffering. And Antoine in this scene fucks himself over because he betrays his own beliefs. He betrays his own creed. He kills her despite the fact that she didn't obey his rules. And so now, ironically, like Carson, right? Carson followed the rules and died, and Antoine made fun of him for it. Antoine has disobeyed his own rules. And now karma is about to fuck him. Right here. See, because he destroyed his own adherence to his own code. Karma serves everyone the dish that they order up with their behavior. And Antoine killed a woman who didn't pick her own coin toss. He betrayed his own creed, his own dark, twisted, fucking demonic values. He betrayed it. And now he's fucked. His arm's broken. How is he going to heal that? The bone is fucking sticking out of his arm. How's he going to heal? What's he going to do? The young boys in the mirror distracted him. Could Antoine be a PDF file? Comment your opinion below. Well, this guy's so fucking demonic. He's beyond that. He just wants to kill. And these stupid fucking boys, they tell him, oh, there's an ambulance coming. Don't fucking talk to him. And again, he takes advantage of them. And he comes across just like our main character did when he was bleeding at the Mexican border, offering people money for their shirt. This young boy takes off his shirt in front of him, gives it to him. Man, he's cursed with puffy nipples. I have that curse too. Makes you feel like a woman. It's a nasty thing to have. Makes a tourniquet for him. God damn. A Scottish tartan as a tourniquet. A tartan tourniquet for you, me lad. And this guy's so good. He's like, well, that's a lot of fucking money. He's like, take it and just make sure you tell people you didn't see me. I was already gone. I was a shadow. I was nothing. His leg and his arm are totally fucked. But again, this scene of Chigurh's character, he's walking through this suburban neighborhood. He looks like fucking Michael Myers, man. Very clear callback to Halloween. So, we're at the end of the movie here, and this scene is one of the most poetic examples of dialogue that I've seen snuck into a mainstream film. You can't sneak poetry into things because people are too stupid to interpret it, number one, and number two, the people trying to be poetic are so inept at writing in general that the poetry they write is vomit-inducing. It would make Shakespeare want to revive himself 100 times just so he could commit 100 suicides, because the equivalent of what we call poetry is so fucking diseased nowadays that it's difficult to even approach anything close to poetry. You know, never mind the name of poetry's been dragged through the mud by degenerates and freaks and idiots. And I'm guilty of that too myself, for sure. But in any case, Tommy Lee Jones is describing his dreams here. And the first dream is boring. It's not worth talking about. It's a red herring. Now, this dream here. Remember that painting in the hotel room when our main character was awaiting Shigur? It was two men riding through the mountains. And this is the masculine life. This is the male psyche, and it's not a trivial thing. It's not abusive. It's not anti-woman. It is what it is. This is what men feel. If you want a man to bare his soul to you, you can't do better than this. This scene, every man has felt this. The desire from the father to carry on the fire. And it's not a small thing. And the creepy thing about this movie, the last fuck you, is Tommy Lee Jones says, I knew he'd be there in the dream. I knew my father would always be there for me. I knew I'd always succeed. And then I woke up. Meaning I woke up to the fact that men don't always succeed. That their genetic lines are not always meant to go on. That the brutality of reality is that you might be destined not to breed. And as rare as that is, it might be true. And then what do you do? And it's in this scene, it's the more basic interpretation is just, well, I can't be a cop anymore. I have to retire, right? That's the surface level thing. But it's more than that. It's that I can't carry the torch forward. And Tommy Lee Jones doesn't have a son in this film. He has surrogate sons. He has policemen that he trains. But he never had a son. Or his son was killed. I can't remember what the point is. He doesn't have a son. Or if he does, the son's not in the movie. Anyway, enough about that crap. Nihilistic messages aside, this movie, I think, is ultimately hopeful. It sends a message that you can preserve your values if they align with reality, with nature. If you're willing to adapt, you can preserve the values that are present in your society, the values that constitute it. If you're not willing to adapt, if you're so stubborn that you want literally everything to be autistically the same, like reality is a Lego set that you built, and time and entropy are, oh, they're taking bricks off my Lego set. Ugh. If you have that attitude, you're a fucking child. I don't care how successful you are. I don't care if you're Elon Musk. If you think that you can reshape reality according to your nostalgia, you are on a path to hell. And you'll go there mostly on your own, maybe take a few of your people with you, but the rest of us will stay here. And we will pity you. Because we tried to help you. And you ignored it. Anyway, guys, very heavy movie. A lot of religious themes, a lot of spiritual things, a lot of philosophical things floating around in the movie. I didn't think I'd do a commentary on this, so if you've watched this far, I do appreciate your viewership. I do appreciate your attention, whoever you are. And I hope you're doing well in your life. I hope life is going well for you. I hope it gets better, in fact, for you. That having been said, we are at almost the 2-hour mark, 1:59, 30 seconds. So I'm going to stop the recording here during the credits, and, please like and subscribe if you like my content. That's all I have to say. So, as always,
Peace out.